Nick was like, oh damn, we adjourned for the Judicial Committee thing. That's a sad moment. And oh my God, never.
That was one of the biggest clusterfucks in the history of national
It
conventions.
could be a bigger one than you. I don't even think. Let's do this rabbit trail right now. This will be a separate issue because I've got the clip and everything.
Okay.
All right. So we don't have a real judicial committee.
No, we do not.
We have a judicial committee that the LNC has voluntarily agreed to be bound by the decisions of, but the members aren't. And the LNC can rescind that at any time, but with the proper thresholds.
Basically means it's useless.
Well, not really. It's useful unless we rescind it.
We will be bound by this decision unless enough of us disagree with it to rescind it, and then we don't care. Therefore, whatever.
It's better than nothing.
Not by much, but...
But if you remember, you might not have been paying attention at that time, I was the one who really freaked out over this, and everyone else was, we don't really need a judicial committee, because when have they been called on in the last whatever? I'm like, okay.
Excuse me?
Famous last words.
Oregon, Lee Wright.
Recently, though, with the new people, it really hadn't been. And so they're like, no big deal. And I didn't, the resolution that we would be bound by their decision was the least of my choices, but it was the best I could get past.
See, my problem was I wasn't on the floor that day because I was occupied with a gallstone attack, but I was paying attention over the web feed.
There was so much.
It's probably compounded the gallstones, but that's another story.
Daryl, well, obviously Nick messed up, but Daryl also messed up because when there was the motion to adjourn, Daryl was screaming out, "I object." But that's not privileged. He should have yelled out point of order.
Right.
And that would have stopped everything in its tracks, but he didn't. But Nick also had his own things. But some of the no matter what proposal we came up with, it would be kludgy. But I had suggested and wanted to send out some kind of ballot to all the registered delegates and elect that way, even though that really isn't what the bylaws. It's in this.
The fundamental problem was that the original, if I remember correctly, there was a motion which said that if a majority, because the requirement for judicial election was...
It was a majority.
Majority of votes, which means I get 50% plus one.
It was approval voting.
And approval voting. Okay. Well, the problem, and that was the same way that I believe the LNC at large was elected, if I remember correctly. And because we were running short on time, and please correct my recollection here, there was a motion made to instead have the LNC elections be just the top 5 vote getters instead.
Whether they got a majority or not.
But the motion never applied or included the Judicial Committee, but then they went ahead and said it applied to them anyway, which was totally wrong.
Some people said that. And the LNC, upon reviewing the tape where Nick goes, damn, we adjourned. No. Some people claimed that, but that is not real. That wasn't what was ordered. We basically did not have a judicial committee.
So the initial motion did not include, for the top 5, did not include for the Judicial Committee at all.
No.
So the vote. So what wound up happening was when they had the vote for the Judicial Committee, it still had the 50% plus 1 majority it elected.
And none of them got a majority.
And none of them got it. Or was it 1? 1 or 2 maybe? It wasn't enough for a full quorum of a JugCom, I know that.
To appoint the rest.
Right.
Yeah, I'd have to go back on that, but I don't...
But in either case, it wasn't properly constituted by a proper election.
So we don't have a valid judicial committee, but what we have is an acting judicial committee for the LNC only.
Right.
Okay, that's the motion, the proposal I got passed. No matter what we did, we were going to be going outside the bylaws. So what I first proposed in order to keep within the spirit of the bylaws was to spend the money to do balloting of the registered delegates and elect a frickin' judicial committee.
Which was a logical way to do it.
Right. And
because it was unfinished business of the convention,
right,
which should have been finished the way it worked out.
and there were all kinds of weird arguments. It wasn't going to pass. It didn't get voted down. And everyone's like, we're not going to need it anyway. We're just going to deal with it next convention. Okay.
Well, next convention, they have moved the election of Judicial Committee up in the agenda.
Well, no, it's not on the agenda for this convention.
It's not?
No. Okay. We made an amendment to the bylaws
Yes.
to have it every 4 years.
And but also moved it up in the
Yeah, but
in
still,
the order.
it's not in presidential years.
So we don't have a Judicial Committee until 2022, basically.
Unless we move to suspend the rules, because it's a convention rule.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think it's a bylaw. If it's a bylaw, we can't do a damn thing about it. I believe it's a convention rule, though.
I'm not going to look it up, but anyway.
Yeah, well, so I believe it is because everyone's been talking, a bunch of smart people that I'm trusting, but maybe I shouldn't, have been talking about suspending the rules to elect a judicial committee. This time. Fine. Okay, because everyone said we won't need it. But let me just throw out a scenario, because we had an executive committee meeting last night.
Okay.
What if we can't have our convention because it gets shut down?
Which is a distinct possibility.
Our bylaws don't allow for electronic conventions. Of course, as Tom Knapp was more than free to point out, sometimes the LNC in exigent circumstances, sometimes we'll see a way to bend the bylaws. And to be honest with you, this is something very unanticipated, and I wouldn't scream too much if they tried to hold an electronic convention. However...
That'd be a major undertaking.
But we've looked into it.
Yeah.
However, Nick pointed out, if 25 people showed up in front of Austin Hotel on the day and time, and due to however, we calculate quorum of the registered delegates that show up, that's the convention. Then you have two competing conventions who could theoretically elect two different presidential candidates and two different LNCs, and we don't have a judicial committee to make any kind of decision.
And we have Arizona on steroids. Oh, gods.
I said, guys...
For folks to understand, this situation sort of arose in Arizona a few years ago where there were two competing LPs that did separate conventions, separate leadership committees, and separate candidates, and it caused a whole mess.
So this is like apocalyptic, really.
Yeah.
So I remember that time. I'm going to go, I hate being the I told you so person, but I remember that judicial committee discussion. Oh, we're really not going to need one. I go, famous last words. Because then what? We don't even have anyone to appeal to. And some people blithely said on Facebook, well, then each affiliate could decide which of the two LNCs they wish to affiliate with. That's like a frickin' party destroying thing.
That's Oregon on steroids.
Yeah, it's the whole frickin' nation is Oregon.
Yeah.
So let's just hope our convention, we don't have coronavirus issues.
Which of course leads to a slightly related question. Is there a deadline for the National Party to have a presidential nominee?
I believe there is, and it's not bylaws, it's federal law.
That's what I mean, an FEC requirement.
Yeah, but I don't know what that is.
I mean, I know there's some requirements with various state laws as far as...
But that's why we don't have our convention earlier.
Stuff. Yeah. But
we're having problems with ballot access petitions because people won't sign petitions because they're scared because so many people have touched...
And the fact that Bloomberg was eating all the petitions.
Yeah, but now that he's...
Let's freeze them up, but yeah.
See? I covered my coronavirus. So,
Wait, cover your nose.
Come on. So, the Green Party... There's a bunch of parties, including us, that are petitioning certain states to waive certain petitioning requirements because it's impossible. Yeah. People won't sign. And it's a public health hazard.
Right.
But anyway...
Those aren't going to go very far, unfortunately, because the...
Well, the Democrats are even joining in on so...
Really?
Yeah, there's certain ones, I could get you the details.
Not necessary, but...
Yeah, so it's crazy.
It's insane. we're dealing with an issue here that nobody ever anticipated happening.
All I can say is my butt will be out, if canceled or not, my butt will be on the sidewalk outside that convention.
I've got a good chance of assuming, well, let's put it this way. If I am whether or not I'm a delegate or not, I'll be down there because I've already volunteered to help you with stuff anyway.
Well, but this is where you really want to be a delegate, because now let me get into conspiracy theory land.
Yes.
Making the freaking frogs gay. But besides
Making
that,
the what?
It's Alex Jones. You don't know about the gay frogs?
I know he got
I don't like the
arrested.
stuff they're putting in the water. It's making the freaking frogs gay.
I know he got arrested for DUI, but that's not a story.
Gay frogs.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap. Gay. Frogs, friggin' frogs. It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Gay. Frogs.
Okay, but
Anyway.
no, this has nothing to do with gay frogs.
Good, because I'm not sure what that's all about.
Oh, you'll know when I put the clip in.
Don't.
But
Ribbit. Anyway.
oh my god. So
Is that is that more accurate than we thought?
so here's my conspiracy.
Uh-huh.
How many people would show up on the sidewalk? 25, 50?
Give or take, Star Child.
Much easier to get a 7 ace, don't you think?
Aha, you're worried about the SOP.
Of course I am. I'm glad I closed the loophole about the 4-step thing, because
Glad
you
you
could
double-
easily get that passed.
Glad I
But
double padlocked it. Didn't happen here.
so yeah, that's what I'm worried about. My sweet ass is gonna be there.
Makes sense, because the thing of it also is this. Okay, even if our state convention gets canceled, which is possible at this point,
Right.
You know, the convention body can move from the floor, accept people as delegates without any problems.
Well,
It
and
happens
there'll be
all the time.
and there'll be all kinds of vacant seats. Like the California delegation's filled, but they're all not going to show up.
Right.
And I'm a California member. You're a
Mhm.
California member.
We're not delegates, but we're California members.
If there isn't all of them showing up, so yeah, it's
It would be very
crazy.
easily to say, okay, let's use your 25-person scenario again, and let's say they're from all over the country, to say, okay, we hereby move to accept as delegates everybody standing here from their respective states. Boom, passes, no problem.
As long as it doesn't, they can't conflict with the state bylaws. So they couldn't do that. They couldn't do it for Colorado, but they could do it for California.
Well, actually, no. Guess they could do it for Colorado because the national bylaws allow for that, and that overrides.
No, can't override the state bylaws.
I don't think that's the case.
No, it can't override the state bylaws.
Hmm.
Because that would be interfering with the autonomy of the affiliate
Yeah,
to set its own rules for delegates.
yeah, but we already allow the approval of extra delegates for a state on the convention.
As long as it's
anyway.
in conformity with the state bylaws. It can't go against the state bylaws.
But if the state can't elect anybody as a delegate because their convention was canceled,
Well, then
that goes out the window.
No, then they don't. Then they can't have any delegates.
No, that's crap.
But there's plenty of states that can see out-of-state ones.
That's true, and especially if they're a national member, which doesn't.
I'm a member of Pennsylvania, national, whatever.
Yeah. So
But you can see, like, I'm going,
So maybe the California purchase was a good idea. after all.
right, you know.
So when we get there and Mimi's there, you know, hey Mimi, where's the rest of your delegation?
We should have put on our tinfoil hats for this discussion, but I actually don't think the things I'm saying are that far out.
Not under normal circumstances, I would agree. I would say they're way out of whack, but this is not normal.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not normal.
You know, I mean, I'm looking
Yeah.
at what's going on here, and this is a separate tag from previous, right? We're in a separate clip.
Yeah,
Okay.
we went off on a divergence.
Okay, this is March 19th, or excuse me, 14th. We're talking right now, roughly. Okay,
Allegedly.
allegedly. Okay, and on this date, we have had three of the four major professional sports organizations cancel the rest of their seasons. College basketball is canceled, and we've got states that have implemented bans on gatherings of anywhere from 250 to 2,500 people, depending upon what state you're talking about.
Massachusetts' convention was canceled, but their bylaws allow for electronics, so they're doing
covered.
That. Michigan's might be canceled. I found out yesterday, and they're trying to move it.
California's already had theirs, at least. But in California, because of the governor, they're closing down all the theme parks now. And it's possible that the order to close it down may affect all their mass transit lines, not to mention their airports.
And Colorado's he declared some kind of
He's
state of
declared
emergency.
a state of emergency.
Not the highest level, but
he has the authority to shut things down by executive order if necessary. But he hasn't done that yet either.
Right.
That's only a couple of days ago. There's a possibility of WrestleMania in Tampa being canceled, and that's literally the same weekend as our state convention.
But ours will be under 250.
But what if who knows what's going to happen? I mean, what if they say, "Oh, it's 100"?
I know. I'm just using the number of 250 that's been bandied around.
It could be. We don't know.
Right. And for the hotel might do it.
Yeah, there's
because
always that possibility.
Their insurance carrier could demand it.
So it could be totally out of the party's control.
Right.
So we don't know what's going to happen on
and
this.
We can't just move location because we have that 45-day notice requirement of where it's going to be.
Which we're long past that, because at this point we're literally 3 weeks away from the convention.
It would
3 weeks tomorrow, to be exact.
It would behoove Colorado in the call to convention. I don't know if we can do this under the current bylaws. I think we could get away with it. To have a contingency remote location.
Except for the 45-day rule, which we already passed.
When you're sending out the initial.
That was supposed to be at the 45-day.
I'm talking about for the future.
Yeah, for the future, yeah.
For the future to say, in the event of X, this is a remote.
Well, the bylaws allows for that, specifically.
Well, it allows for it not as a contingency. It allows for it as part of the normal.
Yeah.
But I think it could get away with.
Well, theoretically, we should have been doing it remote positions a long time ago.
Yeah. Hawaii's been doing that.
Hawaii was a very unique case because of them being islands.
Right, you'd have to fly. They have to actually fly, but still,
they have to island hop to do it.
Right,
yeah.
But still, with the range, we're divided in half.
Right.
But anyway,
and not only that, but for Colorado, when you're having a convention in the middle of the mountains at the beginning of April, with only one road to get you there, because the other road is closed because of the winter, and one of the ways in there is through a canyon that is notorious for getting closed because of rock slides.
And isn't there the tunnel too?
There's a couple tunnels in there too, yeah. So you're faced with a logistical question of, can you even get there in the first place? Coronavirus notwithstanding. So the ability to have a remote locations to convene as well is actually one hell of a smart idea.
Well, we're learning lessons.
Yeah, because this is why I objected to doing England Springs for this year in the first place. It was a bad idea beginning of the presidential year, being the location.
Well,
when we did Leadville years ago, at least Leadville, there was multiple ways to get there from here. And we had a huge convention that year.
At first, I did not agree with you. As you know, you and I had disagreed on that until I started talking to presidential candidates who had said, we have to choose from multiple conventions. Why would we pick one that it's hours from the airport?
Right.
And it turned out there was going to be that Students for Liberty televised debate, but that got canceled.
Well, fun.
So now we may have all these presidential candidates in Colorado, so we should be arranging shuttle services. We really should be, to make it convenient for them.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, but they can fly into Eagle County Airport.
There's no direct.
Yes, there is.
Is there? I don't think so.
Yes, there is, because the other day they had a direct from Eagle to Newark that got rerouted to Denver because somebody started coughing on the damned aircraft.
Oh.
And it turns out it was an allergy attack, not coronavirus.
I was talking with some candidates that looked into it and they couldn't.
United goes directly from Newark to Aspen as well as through Denver to Aspen. So that one I do know. I was actually surprised when I saw the article about the one being rerouted to Denver. I'm like, wait a minute, they fly from Aspen to Newark?
But that's Newark. Not everybody's from New England.
Yeah, but practically every westbound flight out of New England either goes through JFK, LaGuardia, Newark, or Dulles. And if you're flying United, all of those go to Denver.
Yeah.
So, but in any case, yeah, it's going to be interesting to say the least. The concern I have is, well, number one, I was always concerned about the weather. Last thing they need was an avalanche or a rock slide closing ways in. Because for someone like me coming up from southern Colorado, if I'm not taking I-70 over and I can't get there because of I-70 being closed, I can't take 12,000 wooden fences past it's closed. Which means the only way to do it is go all the way hell over to Grand Junction and back again. Which, by the way, to do that, to go to Glenwood Springs is approximately an 8-hour drive for me. For people from Denver, it's even worse because they got to come down to my neck of the woods and do that.
And Airbnbs are getting canceled because people don't want,
right.
They don't want germ buckets in their houses.
I'm in a regular hotel at least, and they haven't canceled my reservation yet at least.
We're at an Airbnb. I better check on it.
Yeah. So it's shaping up to be an interesting pile of situation that nobody ever anticipated. And being the bylaws guru for this, I never anticipated something like this.
No, who would?
Yeah.
And
this whole thing is shaping up to be like the Night and Ebola scenario out of Tom Clancy's executive orders. And this is just a freaking cold virus.
Well, flu, but
no, it's a cold virus.
Flu.
No, it's cold. Coronaviruses are cold viruses.
It's a flu virus.
I'm going to go read the post I put up on Facebook earlier. It gives the full taxonomy of the whole situation.
Okay. Well, so we did the full circle thing, starting with the JC, which I don't want to do I told you so, Mr. Goldstein, but I told you so. All right, so that's for the diversion. Now we're back to our regularly scheduled. And who is it? It's me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Microphone number 3.
I move that we adjourn.
There's a motion to adjourn.
Information.
The motion to adjourn is privileged and takes advantage of any other thing. I'm sorry, Mr. Perry. Is there any objection to adjourning?
Yes.
All in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say no.
No.
We are adjourned. Mr. Perry, did you have something to say? Daryl.
What's the process for the Judicial Committee where we also don't know the results?
Judicial Committee is in the same space that Judicial... Damn it. We adjourned.